Our goal is to make a simple blog, an internet for an IT group. The blog will consist of a few web pages and posts. Posts are articles that have a time orientation. For example, you might have a news article that is published as of a particular date. We will address this in two parts. In part one, we'll talk about using categories and tags to group the posts and use these for display. In part two, we'll talk about using a hierarchy of categories. In part one, we will create posts and enable display of events, news, new IT services, or professional development. When you make a blog, there's some general steps that you follow. First of all, organize your information. Secondly, create categories and tags. Third, create your posts in WordPress. And fourth, retrieve your posts. So let's start with organizing information. For example, we're going to have a home page, and we're going to have another page that when you select events in the navigation, which you can see is number 1, it'll display another page with the events on it. The second way that we're going to display things, if you wanted to put your news and events posts onto the home page. And the third way is on the right side we have what's called the widget area, and in this case we're going to give you an example where you display your events. Okay, so for step 2, we're going to create our categories and tags. Categories are a way to enable you to classify your posts, and are used to group them for display. Each post can have a single category. Think of categories like folders that enable you to group your files. Now, tags are another way to classify posts. The difference between categories and tags is you can have multiple tags for a post. For example, a post could have something to do with both professional development and IT services. We could then give it both tags. It could also only be associated with only one tag or no tags. A post can have both a category and tags. For example, we could use category of event and tags of professional development and IT services. So after you look at your information and give it some thought, you want to decide what are my categories, what are my tags. In our case, for categories, we're going to have events and news. And I'm showing that on this diagram, and eventually you'll be able to group those yellow blocks of the posts so I can have groups of events or groups of news. Now for tags, we're going to have professional development and IT services. If you have an intranet, those might be some things that you want to know about various posts. And as an example, I took the widget area that we're going to eventually do to the right side, and that's going to display events. And for each event, we can then associate tags. So for event 1, in this case I had 2 tags. That event has something to do with professional development and IT services. Event 2, we're going to tag as related to professional development, and event 3 has nothing to do with either of those, so we won't associate any tags. Okay, so let's set up the categories. Okay, first of all, we'll go to our let's go to our dashboard, and if you look in the posts area, this is where we'll be working a lot today. You can see there's categories and tags. So let's select categories. And we want to have an events category. So we give it a name in the name field. A slug is an identifier that can be used for programming things. So we'll give it a simple identifier, events. And then we simply say add new category. And you can see on the right side it's displaying those that have been established. In this case it's the events. So let's add the news category. Oops. Oh, something went wrong here. Hold on. Okay, news category. News, slug, news. Same thing, add new category, and now it lists both of our categories, news and events. Okay, let's set up the tags. Very similar. Go over to the tags section. This is allowing us to add tags. We're going to have professional development. And in this case, we're going to abbreviate it. And we say add new tag. And the second one we want to have is new IT services. And we'll abbreviate that as just new services. Add new tag. You can see those are our two tags, new IT services and professional development. Okay, the third step now is to actually create our posts in WordPress. So let's go to the post section and we'll say add new. Now I have a sheet I'm going to pull up. It already has a lot of my text. This will save you from having to watch me type. Okay, so alright, I'm going to put in, we're going to have a post of a holiday party. We're going to put in some content. In this case, I'll use some lorem ipsum. Okay, we have now created the basics of a post. If you go down on the right side, you can see categories are all listed for us, events and news. In this case, this is an event. So we select event and we hit publish. Okay, we've now added our first post. Let's add a news post. You can select add new. Let's go get our text. In this case, we're going to have some security measures that have been put in place. A little bit of content. Go down on the right hand side and we're going to say this is some news that's being announced. So we'll select the news category. And once again we hit publish. So we've now got two posts in. Let's add a third post. In this case we'll go add new from here. Third one we're going to have is some PHP training. And in this case, let's go get our lorem ipsum. Okay, now PHP training we're going to describe as an event. And let's give it a tag. And a tag for that. In this case we have to type it in. That actually brings up the description and we'll click add. So you can see professional development has been added as a tag to that one. So we have event and a tag. Let's publish. Let's do add new. We're going to do a couple more and that'll be it. Okay. In this case, announcing WordPress for general availability. And let's go get our content. Okay, now this one we're going to describe as an event that it's available. It affects professional development. So I'll add that one. And it's also a new IT services. New IT service. So let's do that and it'll give us a little selector. We'll add that. So we now have that one. which is our WordPress availability is an event, and we have two tags: professional development, people want to know about it, and IT services. Okay, let's publish. And let's do the final one. Okay, we have a news item. And let's get some text. We have a new reorganization being announced. And we'll describe that as category of news. And let's publish. Now, one thing you can do just to check out, anytime you want to see all your posts, go on the left hand under posts, select all posts, and you can see there they all are. And over here you can see the categories that they fall into, and you can see the tags that we've used. Great. Okay, step number 4. First of all, we've put in our categories and tags, we've created our posts, and now we want to retrieve the posts. So let's take a look at the different ways that we're going to retrieve our posts. Okay, this is our original diagram, and I'm going to remind you then we have 3 different ways. We're going to go from the navigation, number 1. That's the way you might want to do it. Number 2, we're going to show news and events on a home page. Or 3, we'll put it in the widget area. Okay, now in order to do what we want to do, we've got to enable a couple plugins. So let's go to the plugins section. You can get these from WordPress.org. We're going to go down to List, Category Posts. So we're going to activate this. Okay, and this is going to allow us to do those home page ones where we're going to be able to extract the events and the news. So that's been activated. And then for the widget area on the right side, there's something called Ultimate Post Widget. I'll activate that. Okay, so let's go to our main navigation. Let's see, go to Appearance, and we'll go into the Menu section. Now, they give you a special area down here that you can affect your menus. Our categories are all listed for us. So we click on Categories, we click Add to Menu. You can see it shows up on the right-hand side. If you'd like, you can move it up or down. We'll leave it where it is for now. And you hit Save Menu. Okay, let's go look at our site. So we have this here. We select this, and it automatically displays the events on another page. Terrific. Look how easy that was. Okay, now let's do the second method where we're going to do it on the home page. Okay, I've already got some placeholders for you for the news and events. Let's go bring in our news and events. Let's edit the page. And under the news, we're going to put in a what's called a short code. And it goes like this. You put brackets. And if you want to know how these work, you can go to look up that List Category Posts plugin, and you'll learn how to do it. For now, just live with this. This is great. Name equal quote NEWS. That was our short code, if you recall. And for events, okay, so I've added in these codes that are going to pull them out. Let's update our page. Let's view our page. Just like that, we have a list of the various events and news we can select, and it automatically displays them on pages. So that's our second way. And now for the third way, let's try putting the events off in the widget area. So in order to do that, let's go back to our widgets part of the WordPress, And this is the primary widget area that we want to affect. And in order to do this, we go down and we will see Ultimate Posts is down here. So we want to get it so we can drag it up into there. Alright, it should get in there. Good. We dropped Ultimate Posts plugin into the primary widget area. Let's give it a title, Events. Okay. There's a lot of different options you can put in here. We're just going to put Show Title. You can look through these on your own. And in this case, we select a category, and it's a post, and we say Save. It's that easy. Okay, let's go to our site. There you can see the events showed up here. Let's select one. Now, we went to the work of putting in tags, and notice this particular event, here's the tags. And in fact, if somebody selects professional development, they'll get all posts. They'll get a page with all posts that have that tag. So, we went through the basic steps of getting organized. We created our categories and tags. We created our posts, and we retrieved our posts using 3 different methods. That should give you something to get started in making a blog.